So one of the weaknesses of Peugeot 407 is their headlights. Their headlight, they are not as bright as the predecessor. That is the Peugeot 406. I believe every Peugeot 407 user will know this, unless the person is living in denial or probably have never used a Peugeot 406. So Peugeot 407 headlights, they are not as bright as not just Peugeot 406, but at least I want to use 406 because it succeeded 406. So now in the Peugeot 407, some of them have halogen. In fact, majority have halogen, while some have xenon headlights. Xenon is basically the same with HID bulbs. Yeah, it's more like a unit, comes with a ballast and the rest. So some, like I said, xenon, some halogen. So including the ones with halogen bulbs and xenon, they're still not as bright as the 406. However, of course, the xenon, the one produced with xenon, yes, you could say they are much better than the halogen, but not that much. In fact, not much better. You could say better, but the margin not that high. So now, most users of 407 now, in order to be able to improve on the headlight issue, some will go and convert theirs with aftermarket xenon or LED. When I talk, like I said, when I talk about xenon, we also talk about HID. So some use LED, some xenon. So depending on the aftermarket, they may not put xenon there, they may put HID there. So what now happens is, because those aftermarket ones, which most of them are not as superior as the OEM or the factory or the stock xenon that Peugeot produce some 407 with, because they are, maybe they are all high quality, but then Peugeot considered a lot of things when they were producing this 407 to know which voltage that the xenon requires to work with the vehicle or the entire vehicle or wiring system of the vehicle and other components. So some of these aftermarket ones, because they are universal, may work better in some cars' electrical system, but for 407, they don't. For majority of them. So what now happens is, when you install such ones, you remove your halogen bulb, install some, even will go ahead, because thinking that since the factory or the stock xenon lights on that Peugeot 407 we are produced with, we are still not as bright as halogen in Peugeot 406. So they will go ahead and remove the stock xenon and install aftermarket xenon. So what now will happen is, once you do that, expect your wiper motors to fail. Yes, if you are using Peugeot 407, expect the wiper motor to fail at some point. It may be hours later, days later, months later. It all depends on the one you installed. It all depends, like I said, it all depends on the voltage the one you installed works with as the manufacturer produce it. Like I said, it could even be from another vehicle, a xenon system with the bulb and ballast from a different vehicle, which is also a stock for that vehicle. So it's not like it's a aftermarket. But then they produce it to work with that vehicle electrical system. So for Peugeot 407, when you do that, understand that Peugeot 407 has a complex wiring system, which is known as CAN bus. So what now happens is a lot of gadgets, a lot of, in fact, the entire vehicle electrical system are interconnected. In other words, any abuse on one system will affect the other system since they are all interconnected. So in this case, remember Peugeot 407 has a system where the headlights work with the wipers. I remember if the rain starts falling, the headlights will come up automatically, um, stuff like that. And when it happens, it works with the wipers. The wipers will also come up. It's not like it's not only for Peugeot 407 that has that system, you know. Of course, even Peugeot 406 has it. Not all of them anyway. The late models, 2002, late 2002 upward. So, and among other Peugeot models to date. So, but for Peugeot 407, the one I know for sure, it will affect once that headlight is switched on or the wiper motor, any of them is going to affect the wiper motor. It kills it. How you usually do that is your wiper motor will keep running constantly. Even when you switch off your vehicle, it stays on. You remove the key from ignition, it still stays on. Keep wiping. It may switch off over time, or goes off over time. Or maybe when you lock the vehicle, it may go off or it may not go off until you disconnect the battery. Just keep running. So, no, most people may not know the cause, but what usually causes it is that aftermarket or non-stock or non-OEM Xenon, HID or LED headlights bulbs that you installed. Sometimes it may even go beyond the wiper motor and affect your BSM. That's the fuse box in the engine bay that controls the wiper, even after it has affected the wiper motor. Sometimes it may also go beyond the fuse box and the wiper motor and also affect your BSI unit. So that's why you need to understand these cars are more complex wiring systems. So you have to be they factored a lot of things while they were producing them, knowing this particular thing needs something maybe with the capacity of this. They use some capacitors to reduce the voltage or increase the voltage or stuff like that. So many things. So when you start introducing, that's why I said be very careful when you're buying modern Peugeot cars. These are not 504. You can put a gadget that can run with 1000 volts and nothing will happen. These things, the way the systems are, they're all interconnected. So they communicate with each other. This one will release or reduce the voltage that goes to this. This one will be so complex, the wiring system, that any form of electrical abuse is going to mess up not just that system that you abused. You did that wrong connection, or you introduce something that the entire electrical system cannot handle. It will go and affect some other things that also work with that particular gadget, electronics, or system that you tampered the electrical connection or you introduce on the vehicle. So avoid using all these aftermarket headlight bulbs. Of course, most time when you put that bulb, it also comes with some things that will, like the ballast and all that. But just stay, when it comes to electric car, Peugeot 407, stay with the OEM or the stock as much as possible. Especially for this wiper thing, just stay with your factory Xenon light if that's the one your car came with. This is stock. Or you stay with the halogen. Yes, like I said, it's not that bright. If you are driving at night and other like vehicles are coming, you barely can use it to see, you know. I don't know, like I said, it's just one of their weaknesses. So if you are intending to buy Peugeot 407, know this is there. Anybody telling you otherwise is fooling you or deceiving you. Accept that every car has is positive and negative. This is one of the negatives of Peugeot 407. It doesn't mean you can't use it at night. It's just that when you use one that has a brighter, or you can be able to, the visibility is much better. And when you switch to this one, you may feel as if you under is it undergrade, or that's if it was a step down. Instead of upgrading, you downgrade. So, but it doesn't mean for the 406 is superior to 407. It just means in this as particular aspect, visibility, illumination, everything, yes, but the 406 is superior to the 407. The other areas to the 407 supersede the 406, but as long as the headlights are concerned, no. By far, 406 headlights is just awesome. Once you get a one, the headlight is well set, bright, and just get a good headlight in 407 that's bright. You don't need. I don't need to say more. You understand. So don't abuse your 407 headlights. Stay with the factory or stock one. Deal with it. It's not the end of the world. Introducing something else to make it brighter from the factory, this thing, be ready to deal with the consequences, which will start from something like the wiper motors. It will keep failing. Before you know it, your BSM fuse box will fail. You follow it. Next thing is your BSI unit. So same goes with every other electrical system in Peugeot. Just be very careful. Now some might work. There are other aftermarkets like the radio aftermarket screen. That's a display. Call it multifunction display and stuff like that. So some might work. Some manufacturers have been able to figure out the systems, the entertainment system that can work well with the BSI. Some I know that when people install, after a while they will crash. Files even start affecting the BSI until you disconnect them. Why some have proven that yeah, they actually do work well with the vehicle system. So, but for this headlighting, be very just don't even bother. Don't you do all those experiments. Live with it. Not going to get your headlights to be bright as possible. These days, you don't even need to change your headlights. All you need to do is to wash them. They do all this cleaning chemical. They call it chemical wash, but I understand. They clean it. It will come up bright again as brand new or close to new. So let it be as bright as possible. Use original halogen bulb or original stock OEM Xenon bulbs. It will serve you well. Yes, you'll be, it's training your eyes a little bit more to drive where there's a lot of traffic, other coming vehicles, coming. You probably may not be able to see anything with yours, unless until you are the only person on that road. Yes, 407 has that weakness, but then still drivable at night. You can even say travel with it, but then you can't compare it with the 406, how good their headlights are. Okay, so I hope this makes sense. If it doesn't, well, you can do the trial and error or the experiment, and then let us know how it goes in your own case.